The webinar will begin shortly. Please remain on the line. The webinar will begin shortly. Please remain on the line. The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
All right. Good afternoon, traders. It's light. Where is everybody? Everyone's late today? Can we get their coffee? They didn't like what the Fed had to say and the market's reaction? I thought that it was pretty good, no? Hi, okay, good to see you. I feel like the market's getting a bit of a bad rap. I like it. I likes what I sees. I think we're ready to move into a nice bullish fall. And I'm here for it. I hope you are. Welcome to the Tradespoon, live trading room, stocks and options. My name is Scott Beck, and I will be your host, your friend, your partner in market activities. I'm the head trading coach here at Tradespoon. My background, 25 years trading experience. Hit the quarter of a century mark this summer. Very, very fun. Makes me feel old. Teaching experience, 21 years. Disclosures, be careful out there. May not be suitable for all investors. Bing. Okay. Okay. Let's talk about the market. Well, there he is. There he is, Jer Bear. What does Jer Bear have to say? Fed holds rates steady. Yes, we knew that. I don't think anybody really thought there was a chance, right? I mean, come on. If you think there's ever going to be a surprise, I don't think that, doing it now is really what we're looking for necessarily. So, okay. What else? S&P is up almost 2%. So we're getting even a little bit more now towards the end of the day. NASDAQ is up 3%. Russell is up 2%. Oil is up 4.25%. Gold is up almost 1%. Everything is profitable today. It doesn't matter what you do, it's working. Of course, we don't expect that. So we have the markets reacting to the Fed. We have oil reacting to increased volatility potentially in the Middle East with the assassination leader. What else? What else? Latest sign that the labor market is cooling. Okay, let's see what this has to say. The Pay gap between stayers and changers narrowed. Oh, I'm not familiar with this. New data from ADP, the year-over-year pay increase for job switchers fell to 7.2, down from 7.7. Meanwhile, pay for workers who stay is 4.8, its slowest increase since July. Do we consider that to be? Do we consider that to be weakness? I don't know. I don't know. That seems a little bit arbitrary and peripheral more than direct. Good afternoon, Fred. Good to see you, my friend. Hello, Bob. Attending with one ear on JP. Jer Bear. Okay. Good stuff. Good stuff. What else? NVIDIA soars. Let's see if it soars as much as we think it needs to soar for it to become back in favor. I mean, come on. That's a soar? Am I inside a cave? I'm like, oh, no, but my microphone is, yeah, hold on. How's that? Is that better? I was inside a cave, apparently. Somehow it switched to the webcam microphone for some reason, which is not good. Now I'm back on my fancy schmancy microphone. Thank you, Bob, for flagging. I had no idea that I don't even know what happened. It was plugged in. Usually I look for a little light on my mic that says it's working, and that light was on. Brand. It's called the Blue Snowball. That's what it's called. Fancy schmancy. No, but that should be a brand. Funny that you say that, Bob, because in my mind I was like, you know what? Fancy schmancy should be a brand name, and it could be for anything. Like, oh, look at my fancy schmancy blender, or my fancy schmancy shoes. Bob, let's you and I touch base later. We're gonna make something happen around the fancy schmancy brand. Should be a good time. Okay, what do we know? We know that the consolidation is here. And there's a low. And all of a sudden, oh, looky, we have some volume. This is not that different from back here. And this is what we've been comparing to, right? Where we kind of had that initial breakup, new high, come back down, higher low. So this is not enticing to me yet. This is what I'm looking for. Great. NVIDIA is coming back into favor. It's a great leader. We want it in favor, but this isn't enough. One day is not enough. Oh, 1 day of buyers. Are you convinced? I'm not convinced. I need more. Give me more. I need to see where they get, and then I need to see when it pulls back. And then I'm like, oh, remember what we've been doing is we've been comparing this current market consolidation to the one we just did here, which is back in late March, early April, and then continuing our comparison and evaluation back to August, September, October of last year. And when doing that, we're trying to say, hey, if it's going to get worse, what it look like versus if it's going to stay good. I would say that seeing these breakouts on the technology and seeing the same on S&P, I'm leaning towards, maybe even a V. So I wanted to have some trades on. I'm not trading the tech yet, though. Those will come. I've got some financials on. I've got some industrials on. I've got an oil trade on. Look, we have things that are in line, and we're also seeing fancy schmancy trading. Love it. Love it. We're also seeing confirmation that, not fully confirmed, but we're seeing increased confirmation to indicate that this is Choice A, if you remember our three choices, choice A is a 5% correction. It might work its way out. Choice B is a 10% correction where it's going to be a little bit worse. Choice C would be a V, and it just smashes out. I mean, it could be Ving, but I'm still leaning towards A. But right now, let's go look at today's market volume. Let's go look at the S&P. So that is one concern, is we're not going to get to average, even on today's buying, but we broke. So if I look at this as my consolidation line-ish, right through here, it broke. Yeah, okay. So if this thing were to start to come back down, I'm not like, oh, that's a lower high, now I'm bearish. I'm not thinking that at all. I'm thinking if it pulls back and gets to here, that's a whole new window. A whole new window for trading. For any fancy schmancy traders who want to do some fancy schmancy trading. Okay, let's keep going. What else do we need to talk about? Starbucks stock rises despite same-store sales disappointment. Pay for the fact that you're not paying that person enough, Mark Cuban says. I love that. Right? It's not helpful. A Cuban fan. I like that guy. 3 reasons to not buy gas at Costco. What? What are you saying about Costco? That seems unnecessary. Okay, let's look at the calendar. What do we have coming up next? So ADP, so we did have that drop. I forgot to look at that. I forgot to look at that today at all. Pending home sales had a jump. The Fed looks to be in a good place. But we did have, but it's only ADP. So I'm going to take it with a grain of salt. It's only ADP. Slightly worse than we wanted, but overall okay. What am I going to be looking for to confirm if there is weakness showing up in the labor market? If this gets above 250 for 3 weeks in a row, then I'll be like, okay. Here's what we're looking for from non-farm payrolls, 185. Even if we fall short and get 160 still maintaining the current. And even if we tick up to 4.2, and I promise you, we still don't have very many people here today, so this promise isn't worth that much. But I promise you, if on Friday the unemployment rate comes in at 4.2, it's going to trigger some madness across the financial media space. And everyone's going to be like, oh, session. I think it's going to be the first time it triggers, which I don't even know. I wonder if we went back in time. Like they're like, oh, this is predicted 9 out of 9. Okay. How many times has it flagged and not triggered, though? That's important information, right? Has it flagged 30 times and then was 9 for 9 on? So you're saying if there's a recession, this will flag. But that doesn't mean if this flags, there will be a recession. That logic doesn't work both ways until we can go back and say, hey, let's find every time that it triggered but didn't lead to a recession, or at least didn't lead to a recession within the next few months. So it's funny because I found myself initially intrigued, like many people, but I feel like everybody else was just like, what an intriguing indicator. And then they just stopped and left it alone, still thinking it's so valuable without like going forward and saying, is it valuable? Let's look into it and see, And the more I dug into it, the more I'm like, I don't know. I think this is a red herring, man. I think this is a distraction. So there you go. That is not a fancy schmancy indicator at all. We will not be incorporating that into our fancy schmancy trading. That's for sure. Let's look what Stella says about what's going on. She's not stoked right now. And I feel like she's a little pessimistic, and I'm trying to have some pep talks with her. Like, hey, it's okay. Let's get going. but she's still seeing it somewhat negative. It's coming down. Okay. Stella, let's look at the QQQ. Also, coming down. She's feeling the negativity, whereas I, on the other hand, I'm going to show you my market posture in just a minute. Okay, small caps holding on, and let's see what the Dow. I bet it's looking not great. Not terrible. Yeah, it's not fantastic, right? It's not fantastic. Let's take a look at today's heat map. That is not today's heat map. NVIDIA went from, are we up 13% now on NVIDIA? We sure are. Went from bet in 2 days. Microsoft is not really holding on. I don't know what's going on with the banks and the financials. Credit's doing okay. These guys not as much. Communication services good, cyclical good, industrials good. So where are the sectors that we said we want to see money flow? Technology, check. Communication services, check. Consumer cyclical, check. Industrials, check. Financials, iffy. Everywhere's good. Financials are iffy. I still think it's going to be fine. Yeah, I like it. What's my posture? Well, let me tell you. Let me tell you what my posture is. Zoom. I dropped. Obviously, we dropped last week. Last week was the second of what ultimately was the 2 worst weeks we've seen in the last 2 or 3 years. Yeah? So, the long-term trend stayed the same. Stayed the same. Let's discuss this. Let me just walk through a couple of these with you, so you can get a sense of what it means when I look at these things. So here's the SPY. So let's go to the 3-year weekly chart. It never got below this. It got down near it, and then it looks like we're starting to bounce off of it already, just like we did back here. So this trend is intact. There's nothing for me to do but assess this in the same fashion going forward. Now we look at the short-term trend. You'll notice my short-term score dropped 0.5 point. Oh, that sounds nasty. Let's go see what happened. This was Friday last week. No, 2 weeks ago. This was Monday. And then last week, this was Monday, and then we got down to here. We broke this low. We broke the 50. We had, right? So yeah, of course we scored it down. It broke that trend. It was in this trend. And now we're seeing, well, actually, I'm going to duplicate this one. Whoop. Oh, well, looky what happens here. When all of a sudden we just move this down and we're on this trend, it took one step back and then it started again. It ultimately made higher highs. This trend keeps going. We're at higher highs by the end of the year, of course. That's what I'm looking for. What do you think? Am I crazy? Are you here for it? We have hardly anyone here anyway. I feel like we're solving the market right now and no one's here for it. Come on. Let's look at the VIX. We're giving it back a little. Let's do a quick quiz. JP still talking? What the hell is he even saying? It's not that important. This is what's important right here, right now. For the love of Pete. Oh, goodness. Was this me? Did I do this? I started talking right around here and then, no, I'm just kidding. Let's have a quiz. He's done. The market reacted a little bit. I'm going to go right across here and right below here. A, we finished back above. B, we're in this little range. C, we drop back down near the day's lows. A, B, C. What do we think is going to happen? Bob's an A. He says we're bouncing. I'm going to agree. I'm going to agree with Bob. We're going to bounce. We're going to end up around 552.5. We're not going to get to 553.5, 552.5. Fred's an A. Scott, Bob, and Fred are all A's. Brad is a B. Dervin, Dervin. Couldn't quite see. I need my glasses. Dervin's a B. LK's a B. Ooh, it's a race between the A's and the B's. Nobody's a C. John's not here. I'm going to make John a C so that everybody's represented. Also, kudos, because we didn't have very many people, but everybody answered. I think maybe everybody but one. So thank everyone for that. I don't know why. I don't know where everyone is. Okay, let's go talk about the VIX. Also, to Dervin, thanks for voting. Your name looks unfamiliar, and that might just be that you've said something and I didn't notice before. But since we haven't interacted, welcome. It's nice to meet you. I hope you feel comfortable continuing to participate. Okay, let's look at the VIX. The VIX is in an interesting place. Why can't I see that? There we go. Let's go back out. Let's get rid of my drawings. Oh, man. Okay, so there's a couple things going on here right now. I see a peak, then a trough, then a peak, then a trough, then a peak, and now honestly, this thing right here is a bit crazy, but as of right now, for me, I am leaning more towards de-escalation than escalation. Now, if we get a whole nother all of a sudden it does this tomorrow and we have another trough, well, then I'm like, oh, shit, I guess I'm changing again. This is a little back and forth, but the fact that we haven't spiked above 19 means this was never that much fear to begin with. Last time we got up to 21, we didn't even get close to that this time, right? I see this is just fine. We're okay. We're okay. Okay, what's next? Let's get to the watch list. Maybe. There we go. Actually, oh, look at Apple. Apple's reporting earnings, so I liked the way that was setting up, but I never took it. Amazon. So I'm starting to think that we may have breaks or at least sneaky reversals. Even if this doesn't get above this high, if it comes back and gives me a higher low, I'm still in. I still like it, right? But you can kind of see what we're looking for. That right there. Bing. That trade was a lot easier to get than trying to call this low, and it was bigger too. Yeah. AXP. If I was in it, I would still try to see if it's going to push. I'm not sure why financials are struggling. Yeah, I mean, Bank of America was looking fine. I was actually Bank of America is a trade I took. Now I was waiting to see if it was going to give me some confirmation, and then I saw today's bullishness, and I'm like, I'm going to go ahead and pull the trigger. Ooh, we'll see if that bites me. I don't know what's going on with this. This looks like it's ready to go, but a little bit of a pullback. Anyone in financials? BLDR still looks okay. Citigroup pulling back. Caterpillar looks okay. Carnival Cruise, iffy. Colgate Palmolive pulling back. Ooh, look at this, you guys. I'm getting ready for this one. Investigation from USB. Oh, they're under investigation. Dervin, thank you for the flag. I'm going to have to look into that. Sometimes I don't really, I subscribe to a somewhat of a show me the chart and I'll tell you the news, right? Where it's like, now the chart's saying something and I'm like, oh, something's happening. Mostly it's good. Sometimes not. I would say this has done it for me. It's at the previous. When this pulls back, and it could go a little higher, and then if it pulls back, I don't care. When it pulls back, I am looking to trade this post split. This is our first chance since this thing got cheaper back here after the 50-1, right? First opportunity since then. I'm looking for it. So one of the things that may be happening is my microphone stand is getting old, I think. I like mounted it to my desk and it keeps falling off when I move the microphone. The reason I say that is it just happened. I'm having to fix it so I can keep talking. Give me 1 second. Oh gosh. Yeah, okay. That feels more solid. Okay. Good. Yeah, I like what we see here. Costco, not yet. There's a lot of, even though this is a bullish day, we're up 1%, it's still uncertain. I need to see this. I need to be convinced. Okay, let's keep going. CSX, that's worked out well. That's one that we flagged from industrials. I like that. Carvana got earnings. I didn't touch it because of the earnings. It's reporting after market today. Dow looks okay. Fastenal, that's one I took back here. It's trying. I'm going to give it another day. It's starting to pinch a little bit. I think it could go a little further still, but let's just see. Bitcoin got smashed yesterday. Gold had a nice little bounce. Anybody trade that? We were talking about gold bouncing off the 50 back here. We started flagging that on Friday, and that's looking pretty good. General Motors, that is not a trade for me. I'm not trying to find the bottom of this. If you are, then you might think, yeah, this is a go. We're oversold. Looking for it to start. I think I need this. There's too many instances of this that at this point I would rather see it than not, right? Google has not done it yet. I would say Google is firmly in there. Home Depot, still going. Still looks fine. IWM. Small caps tried to rally. They didn't, but they're still holding up. I crashed the market. Damn it, I jinxed it. Wait, I mean, that does something, right? It feels like. Or I could maybe turn my hat inside out. A rally cap? I don't know. I should try something, though. Ooh. Lord knows I am superstitious. JP Morgan, oof. Everything was looking good in financials, and financials just kind of, it's not, they're not polar, right? It's not like we expect, financials and tech won't move at the same time. It's just they're not right now. I don't know what it is. Financials definitely is a mixed bag today, right? Credit and asset managers are doing fine, but banks and other are doing less fine. KBH. It's at a higher high. It was working fairly lockstep with the IWM, with small caps, because they're both sensitive to the same thing, and that is potentially lower interest rates. Just like small cap companies are going to do better because money is cheaper for them to borrow and to grow their business, home builders are going to do better because money's cheaper for consumers to borrow, and it makes it easier to get a loan. It makes it easier to afford a home, etc., etc.
Coke. And now I want to see, does it pull back? I like Coke. I think Coke looks very strong. I don't know what the defensiveness is with it, but I would probably say that's the range. I'd like to see that, but if it even comes a little further, this thing comes down here and turns. That's our opportunity. Meta. When is Meta reporting? Today? Okay. Hey, where it is, but let's see if the earnings drives it up maybe a little higher towards the 50, and then on the next pullback, what do you think? I think that feels like that could be a reasonable way to go about it. Okay. Any energy names on this list? I had COP. What, did I delete it? I don't remember kicking it. I've had COP and XLE. Those are the two. You can see it gapped up a little bit, but I didn't like the way that was behaving, so I just shifted to XLE personally. You can see it got some, but if you want to flag a couple of good names, I'm open. I'll put a couple of oil. Give me your best oil, somebody. I'll put 2 energy/oil stocks on the list. I want only the best. Only the best. Where were we? OIL. See, I don't know. Devin, OIL and XLE are going to be so correlated as ETFs. Wait, does OIL still trade? OLL. Is that what you said? OL? Yeah, I still need my glasses. No? I'm not sure. I'm not seeing that. What's that company? Ollie? No, that's not it. USO? That might be. That's the old one. USO is the old ETF. You can see that one looks okay. OLL. I'm not finding that. Shell is a good one. Let's take a look at Shell. I don't know. It doesn't. I'll put Shell on. I think that XLE. So here's XLE and the other one. I think we're okay. Okay, so Meta's going to report earnings. That should be exciting. 3M, Oceaneering International. Oh, is that OII then? OII. Sorry, it's not the way that GoToMeeting puts that out there. I could not see what that was saying. Oceaneering International. These guys are oil? What part of oil are they in? I want to go see my fundamentals. Analyze fundamentals, Oceaneering. They are energy. They provide engineered services and products and robotic solutions to the offshore energy, defense, aerospace, manufacturing, and entertainment industries. Boy, that seems like it's not necessarily oil, but they offer remotely operated vehicles, ROVs, for drill support and vessel-based services, including subsea, hardware installation, construction, pipeline inspection. Okay, so they're kind of energy adjacent. Yeah, it seems. It's a definitely a strong stock. Volume is okay. It's only about 1 million shares a day, so I would imagine the options aren't fabulous. But yeah, I like it. Let's put it on the list. That's an interesting touch on the energy space. So what happened to my questions? SLB or Halliburton? Yeah, Schlumberger. Okay, let's keep going. What time is it? Am I in a rush? No, I'm good. I am good. We talked about that. Morgan Stanley still okay. I like Morgan Stanley. Here's what I like about it. Big pop up. We got this consolidation, and then it's like we're gonna go again, and we got a signal. That's valid. If you took that valid, but what's happening? It hiccuped. It's not wrong. It's not wrong. But if from here the hiccup then starts to re-engage, I like that. If you didn't take it, I still think that it's on the table. If we get that sort of a follow-up. So I like Morgan. I want to see what Stella thinks about Morgan. Stella. All right, Stella. Tell me what you've got. She doesn't like it. Damn it. I thought she was going to be on board. But she's a bit negative right now. I've got to take that into consideration. She's got a bit of negativity to her. She's biased to the downside. Yeah? Microsoft is full consolidation mode still. Just no end in sight. We know what we need. If we don't get it, there's nothing here for us. Right? Boop. That's what it might look like right there. Guess what? It just happened to occur right around the same time as everything else we're looking at and correlating to. So patterns. Okay. Micron, nothing. Netflix, nothing. Nvidia, maybe. It's got to do this, though. I'm not trading the first break. I'm not trying to find the bottom, and I'm not trying to trade any kind of first breakout. I want that one. That's mine. I own it. I'll share. We can all share, but it's mine, and I'm waiting for that. Okay. OII, we just talked about oceaneering. You're a flag trader. You might say, is it flagging? Yeah, maybe. I mean, that's a tough one because it ultimately is a one-day consolidation into the flag, which I struggle with that pattern. I've seen it before. I don't love jumping into those. So I don't know, but it does look pretty bullish right now, doesn't it? That's kind of what you had here. Kept going. Just real quick little hiccup and gone. Oh, pharmaceuticals. Pharmaceuticals. They did have earnings. That's true. They did pop with earnings. No doubt. No doubt. I hear you. Teva Pharmaceuticals. There's been a bit of a surge in healthcare. I just don't like trading healthcare. There's, healthcare and we just don't get along. And it's the same with doctors. I don't trust doctors. I don't trust healthcare. I don't know what it is. I have trust issues, Moving higher, I don't think. For me, it's not yet. For me, it failed to move higher because I'm going to draw. Remember the way I'm looking at That was not a great line. Let me try again. I'm going to try to touch on. That's better. Okay, 1. Theoretically, you could maybe even talk about that one back there, even getting real close. 2, 3, boom, 4. What are the concepts that we think about when we're evaluating support and resistance? We're thinking about recency and frequency. How many times and how frequent, or how many times in the last little bit? Well, a lot. So for me, Teba is stuck. It's stuck at this resistance level here. It's very much in this channel. Do anything until we have a breakout one way or the other on that one. Bob said on the market. Got it. Let me go take a look. Oh, are we giving it back? That's a 1-minute chart. Oh, okay. What was the number? I forgot to. It was this candle, I think, right here, right? Like here to here. Does that sound right? No, I can't remember. I can't remember the quiz, you guys. Did I call out the numbers? I don't think I did. Oh, I'm in for it now. I don't remember where I drew my candle, you guys. I feel like it was here, though. I feel like it was here, and then it went a little further, and now it's come back. I feel like we're in the B range right now. Does that sound right? Someone tell me if this is what it looked like. I feel like that's what it was, and it came down, popped back up, and we're sitting right on the verge. That's what we're going with. The line is at 552. Above 552 is an A. Below 552 is a B. Oh, look at that. Bob just said the same thing. Lovely. Lovely. All right. 552. I don't want any B's accusing me of cheating. The reason I don't want you to accuse me because I'm not this time. If I was cheating and you accused me, fair. That's fair. Would I cheat? Maybe. Am I this time? No. Okay. Okay. We're all on the same page. Oh, goodness. TJX. Yeah, I think TJX looks okay. Taiwan. I'm gonna say Taiwan and Nvidia. Those are our top 2. AMD, Micron. They aren't doing it. I think that the first 2 that look like they're gonna turn and that will lead the group will be Nvidia and Taiwan Semiconductor. That's what I think. What else? Oh, the dollar. So a bit concerning when we broke back up above. We didn't love all this back here, but then we said if it can get back below the 50, it did and stay there. It got back below the 50, but it didn't stay there until now. It's kind of coming back down. So I definitely would like to see this, right, where we see this thing diminish. That will be very, very conducive to better bullish market conditions. Yeah. Better bullish market condiciones. The VIX, it's come back. I would have liked it better if it stayed. We are closing below both. This low was 1623. This low was 1626. We're at 1621. Not by much, but a little below. I don't know. That's tough. I'd like to see it more, below 16 to really get confirmation. And I just don't feel like we've done that convincingly yet. Yeah. So I think we need one more day to be convinced that the buyers are definitely coming back in. FXY. Ooh, FXY. China? No, Japan. Sorry. I was thinking FXI. FXY. Yes. So what did Japan do? It was the last consolidation, and we broke out of it, and then we pulled back, and then we did this. So if you're wondering what does it look like real time, does it always get us in as soon as we'd like before we're convinced? No. But that right there is a classic example of a trend reversal. We got the first indication breaking. We had volume. Then it got to a higher high up here. We took out this high and this, and we got all the way back up. Then sitting right on top of the 50. And in this area, we had confirmation. Either one of those 2 days, confirmation. Now what? Now it's moved. I'm very leery of the fact that it's approaching this resistance, but it also has a ton of volume, so looks pretty good. But yeah, it's a great catch. Post facto, that is a good look at a reversal signal that came about a week ago. Hopefully, Bob, you've been in this for 2, 4, 6, 7 days. 7 days. If not 7 days, then hopefully for at least 2 to 6 days, because even with 2 to 6 days, you at least caught today. Okay. The dollar we talked about, the VIX we talked about, and now let's talk about Walmart. I like Walmart. I think Walmart's doing the same thing the S&P is, in that if it gets down here and finds some support and bounces, then I'm fine with it. It's just the next channel down. 7 days, Vlad caught it. Great trade by Vlad then. Great catch, working a classic reversal price action pattern. Me gusta mucho. XLB materials still showing a little bit of strength. I would say it's a lot of gold pushing that higher. XLC. Okay. So communication services, I now have points 1 and 2. We have the break and we have the higher high. And now what am I waiting for? The higher low. If I get the higher low, we're ready. Then we're ready. Okay. Energy still looks fine. It's giving back some. I'm getting closer to wanting to take a little bit because I don't love that happened, but it still looks okay. Financial still looks okay, as does industrials, meaning they both have just made new higher highs. So I think that their trends are likely to continue. Technology, it's not there yet. Some technology, we don't have Microsoft. We only have a couple chips. So I would say some, but not all. XLP still looks fine. XLU. I mean, XLU just topped out, but it's had some strength. There's been some defensiveness as far as this goes. Healthcare. Okay, so there was some healthcare, but I'm a little leery now. I mean, it's kind of like a little bit of a kind of a triangle type of a situation. Up, down, up. We're still stuck. Maybe it comes down one more time. We definitely got to break 151. Otherwise, I think it's not in a great place. Okay. So what's our final conclusion with everything that's going on? Bullish overall, but not really thinking we're finding a bunch of bullish trades. If you're in bullish trades, great. But if you're in bullish trades on financials, on industrials, they're starting to hit some resistance and may pull back. If you're watching for trades in technology, they just broke out and we're waiting for a pullback. So yeah, ideally right now, if it were to pause and then give us a couple of days pullback and then smash from there, I like that. I think that's viable. I'm like I said, I'm definitely still bullish though. I still see buyers in control. I see increased bullishness as we've watched money flow into small. I've seen increased bullishness on reactions for the Fed. Fred told me I need to have a sit down with Stella, have a heart to heart. Yeah, she's holding on to the past. She needs to just move forward into what we have in front of us. We still have a 3-point. But here's the thing. You could actually do the same thing with Stella that I do with my market posture. And that is ask another perspective, right? So when we look at Stella and say, well, Stella says on the SPY, Stella says it could still be going down. That's one perspective. What if I go to this perspective? Long term, things still look fine. In the short term, is there a possibility for, a couple of pullbacks? Yeah, sure. But, Fred, you know that in an ongoing fashion, I have counseling sessions with Stella so that we can continue to progress together, right? Absolutely. Great question. Let's take a look at the seasonal. Now, what happens here in August? So this is where we are right now. We tend to think about a little bit of a pullback. Now, if this were to stay cyclical, it would be more than a little pullback. And then we'd have a bounce, and then another pullback, and then we go. Yeah, I would say not super helpful right now in context of where we're at. But something that we should continue to look at and continue to try and process. Okay. Well, yeah, we'll get some employment data the rest of this week. We'll talk about all of that data on Friday morning when we meet. I'm bullish. I think if anything, as of right now, we're on track for our posture to stabilize and possibly even improve a little bit. And last time in April when that happened, that was a great triggering point to get bullish again. And so I'm definitely looking for a similar pattern to happen now. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Now I'm going to go award gold medals. Fred says it looks like it's going to be the B's. And I'm an A, so of course I'm not real happy about that. Ooh, let's see. Actually, I feel like it's moving down into C territory now. So it may be that John, who's not even here today, is going to win a gold medal by himself. And the rest of us are going to hold our heads in shame and try harder next time. Let's give it a couple minutes. It's trying. I'm going to say if it's above 550.80, 550.80, that's the number to get into. 550.75 even. 550.75 or above, it's B's. But right now, it's in the C territory. C. Let's look at the Fed, and then we'll award it. This is to be fair. So maybe the B's, maybe nobody. What's our percentage? Oh, wow, look at that. Now we're in 83% for one cut, 16 for two. Come on, you guys. Who thinks it's two? That's madness. There is absolutely no possible way that the Fed comes out in, if they wanted to hit it twice, hit it today with a surprise quarter and then hit it with another quarter. It's not happening. We'll get a quarter point. I'm surprised that there's nobody who's like, what if they don't? No way we're going to drop there. But you've got people looking for three now. This is 1, 2, 3. This is 1, 2, 3. Now, if we go to December, they'll have 4. Barely, but 4 is there. Actually, this is 2, 3, 4, 5. So at this point, 2 is 100% baked in. We're baked in for at least one in September and a second by December. That's baked in. So if we don't get both of those, then we have negative repercussions, right? Then we have to adapt in that regard. I think that's still feasible. I think we could still see hit it in September, leave it in November, hit it in December, boom, or all three. But you've got people thinking we're going to have 5 quarter or 1 1/4 cuts. That's not happening. Come on. That's just pie in the sky. That's what got us in trouble earlier this year. So, all right, let's go win this gold medal or award this gold medal. 550.75 was the number. We're at 550.64 and the bell just rung. Sorry, everybody in attendance. We all lose. We're better than this, you guys. But market seems fine. I'm feeling like I'm not concerned. Let me know your thoughts. But I will be back Friday morning. We'll see what it looks like with a little bit more news, and then we'll go from there. Thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of your day. As always, happy trading.